Alright, hello and welcome to Module 6, Lesson 8. This is the last lesson in the first half of our module. Today our focus is that we're going to use understanding of fraction equivalence, so equivalent fractions, to investigate decimal numbers on the place value chart expressed in different units. What does all that mean? Well, we need to know what the place value characteristics are as different units. So, for example, on the template, so go ahead and get out your template. You can do this with me. I'm going to do it with a whiteboard marker. You can do it with a whiteboard marker in your sleeve, or you can just do it on the paper. So, the first one I'm going to do is I'm going to represent this number. I'm not going to tell you what it is, I'm just going to draw it. Okay. Okay, so I want you to draw that on your board. Now, this rectangle, how many tenths are in 1? Yeah, if you said 10 tenths, you are correct. There are 10 tenths in 1. So we're going to record that underneath here. We're going to write 10 tenths. And then we're going to do the same thing with this one because it's also 1. So we're going to write 10 tenths. Now, how many tenths are in this one? If you said 4 tenths, you are correct. We're going to record 4 tenths here. So, I'm going to add these together. 10 tenths plus 10 tenths plus 4 tenths equals what? 24 tenths. Tenths. Or we could say it is 2.4. Okay? So, so 2 and 4 tenths is the same thing or equal to 24 tenths. True or false? 2 and 4 tenths is the same as 24 tenths. If you answered true, you are correct. Okay? Now, I'm going to shade in, let's see. The next thing we're going to do, you're going to shade in, on the next columns, you're going to shade in 2 ones and 40 hundredths. So I'm going to shade in 2 ones Now what do I need to do to this one to make it into hundredths? Right, I need to draw lines. So I'm going to divide this 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Okay. I'm going to divide it into 10 spots, so then we have 100 boxes. And then I'm going to shade in 40 of them. Okay. So, how many hundredths are in 1? In 1 we have 100 hundredths, or 100 hundredths in 1, right? And then we have 100 hundredths in 1. And then how many hundredths did we have here? Right, we have 40 hundredths. And that equals, if we add these together, it equals what? 100, 200, and 40 hundredths. And how do I write that as a decimal? Right, we write 2.40. So, my question to you now is 2.40, 2 and 40 hundredths, or 240 hundredths, the same as 24 tenths, or 2.4, 2 and 4 tenths? So you're right, it is equivalent. 4 tenths is the same. 4 tenths is here, 40 100ths here. It's the same amount shaded. It's identical, so it is the same. So this number and this number, 2.4, is equal to 2.40. Okay? Alright, now, in the place value chart, let's see. I'm going to draw some tenths in here. Okay, so I have 20 tenths, right? Okay. How many tenths are in 2 ones? Okay. So we could actually group these and move them over. So we have 2 ones is equal to 2 tenths. I'm sorry, 2 ones equal 20 tenths. Okay. So I want you to show 2 ones and 4 tenths on your place value chart. So I'm going to show 2 ones and 4 tenths. I like to put them in 5 frames, remember? 2 ones and 4 tenths. So, decomposing the ones and express them as tenths. So now we're going to decompose these. And we're going to put 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And then this one goes over here as well. 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Okay? So now, we started off with 2 ones and 4 tenths. But now we can say we have 24 tenths. So it's the same as, I think this one's darker, but I think this one writes better. The same as 24 tenths. Okay. How can I express 24 tenths as hundredths? Okay. Well, I can decompose each one of these into 10 hundredths, right? And then how many would I have over here? I would have 240. And if I was going to show you that without drawing per place value discs, I would have 2 and 4 tenths, which equals 24 tenths, which equals 2.4. Okay, so we're going to have 24 tenths. All of these tenths are going to be multiplied by 10, because each one of these is going to come over here and make 10. And there's 24 of them, so 24 times 10, and then 10 times 10. Whatever you do to the top, you have to do to the bottom. So you end up with 240 100ths. So 24 tenths is also equal to 240 hundredths. Hundredths. Okay. So, now going on to the problem set. Okay. On the problem set, which is page 121 in your book, it says always read the directions. Some of you are not reading the directions and you're getting it wrong simply because you didn't read. Okay. So, this says, use the area model to represent 250 100ths. And then complete this number sentence. So, I am going to say I have 250 100ths. Well, I know that that is going to be this would be 100 because we figured that out on the last one, right? Even though they're in tenths, if I divide this up, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So if I divide it up, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Okay, so I divided them all up into hundredths now. And I have 250, so this is 100. This whole box is going to be 200. And to shade 50 of these in, I'm going to take the first 5 lines. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And I'm going to shade all those lines down. And that would be 50. Okay. So if I answer at the top, 250 100ths equals how many tens? Well, we can say this is 10 tenths. This is 10 tenths. And this is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 tenths. And if I add them together, I have 1025 tenths. So it would be 25 tenths. It's also equal to what? How many ones? Well, there's 1, there's 2. 2 ones. And how many tenths? 5 tenths. Equal to decimal fraction would be 2.5. Okay? Letter B says, in the space below, explain how you determined the answer to part A. Okay, how did we determine the answer to part A? We divided the tenths into hundredths instead. To make it equivalent. Okay. Divided the area models. Okay. Number 2, draw a place value disk to represent the following decomposition. 2 ones into 2 ones into tenths. So if we have 2 ones, we're going to take each one of those and we're going to make 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So how many do we have? 20 tenths. Okay. Same thing here, we got 2 tenths, and we're going to make them into hundredths. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Okay, I'm putting arrows on to show which way I'm going. So 2 tenths equals 20 100ths, or 20 hundredths. Okay. Now, I have 1 and 3/10, and I need to make it into tenths. So I'm going to take this 1 and I'm going to scoot it over, and I'm going to be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. That one's no longer there. How many tenths do I have? 13. I have 13 tenths. Okay. And then this one is 2 tenths and 3 hundredths. How many hundredths? We're going to take both of these tenths and make them into hundredths. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. That takes care of that one. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. That takes care of that one. How many hundredths do we have? Right, we have 23 hundredths. Okay, let's go ahead and turn your paper over. Now we're just going to decompose without using the place value chart or the area model. And if you still need to use that, it's okay. You can get out the place value chart and write them in there and decompose them. 1, 1 equals how many tenths? If you answered 10, you are correct. 2 ones, or 2 equals how many tenths? If you answered 20, you are correct. 1.7 equals how many tenths? Correct, it's 17. 2.9 equals 29 tenths. 10.7 equals 107 tenths. 20.9 equals 209 tenths. So now number 4, decompose the units to represent each number as hundredths. So everything has to be hundredths. So 1 equals how many hundredths? Okay, 100. 2 equals how many hundredths? Right, 200. 1.7 equals how many hundredths? Well, the 1 is going to equal 100, and the 7 is going to equal 70. So it's going to be 170 hundredths. This one is going to be 290 hundredths. How about this one? Okay, go ahead and figure that one out and then come back. Pause it. Figure out the next two. So it would be 1070. And if you don't understand this, go back to your place value chart and put it in your place value chart and decompose it. Okay, this is 20.9. You would have 2090 hundredths. Okay. Oh good, now we have a complete the chart. First one's been done for you. Decimal, mixed number, tenths, hundredths. Okay. So the decimal is 4 and 2 tenths. So we would write that as 4 and 2 tenths as a mixed number. How many tenths do we have? We have 42 tenths. Or we can write 42 tenths. How many hundredths do we have? We have 420 hundredths. Or 420 over 100. Okay? Go ahead and do the rest of them on your own and then come back and check your work with me. Okay. 8.4 would be 8 and 4 tenths. It would be 84 tenths. Or I can say 84 over 10. This would be 840 hundredths. Or I can say 840 over 100. This one is going to be 10 and 2 tenths. It's going to be 102 tenths. Or 100 over 10. 102 over 10. Hundredths is going to be 1,020 hundredths. Or 1,020 over 100. And the last one is 75 5/10, or 755 tenths. 755 over 10, or 7,550 hundredths, or 7,550 over 100. So all we're doing in this lesson is we're renaming. We're renaming decimals from one unit to the next. We're using the place value chart, decomposing it. Okay? So tomorrow you'll be doing the